I spent some time just reflecting on that, just like grief and trauma facing Black families, Indigenous families, and just other families that have been victimized by this like profound loss, this like, rending apart families, this irreparable loss. And so I had to just think about that for a minute. And the other thing I thought about is just, in having this conversation, how, and thinking about the summer of 2020 and building upon that, and then us coming here and having this conversation, how so much of that was made possible or is predicated on the fact of videos and the fact of cell phones and video recordings, and that, yeah, we might not be having this conversation. I mean, there would still be these acts of violence, but this discussion may have happened, it may not have happened, So I was thinking about the video recording, and then I thought about, what do these videos mean to family members? And how unsettling that is, because it's essentially televising the death of a child or a sibling or a parent, and there's no dignity in that death. But at the same time, without that video recording, there isn't this like public conversation and public outcry. And it just like, there's so many levels there, just multiple levels of trauma that families are experiencing. But I think also we as a society are kind of dealing with this collective grief in different ways and different degrees. It's not all the same, And so I just, I was just thinking about those just deeply disturbing facts of our present. And then from that, I was, I mentioned like 3 things that I thought we could reflect on is just, what are the systems and structures that produce this? And I thought about cultures of anti-Blackness, which I think intersect with what Megan is talking about. So cultures of anti-Blackness, devaluing of Black lives, and devaluing of Black grief. And also just a larger culture that erases Indigenous peoples and Indigenous presence, and that, Indigenous peoples or identities are essentially rendered invisible unless convenient for some dominant narrative, like Thanksgiving or sports teams. And yeah, that's just something that's, an aspect of our present, and it connects to our history. Histories of colonialism and capitalism that produce modern nation states in the Americas. I mean, there's, throughout the Americas, it's this history of colonialism and erasure or, annihilation of Indigenous peoples and enslavement. And that's the foundation of our culture.